Alexander the Great, one of the most famous kings of all time. Well, besides King James. Perhaps even the greatest military leader of all time. In case you didn't know, this guy was tough. He supposedly had a really muscular build, was super fast, had curly hair, and was 5'5" to 5'8". Not only did he win many battles, but he also sustained major injuries, like a catapult shot to the shoulder, a fractured fibula from an arrow, a punctured lung, scraped ankle, an arrow through a breastplate, and I'm guessing he probably stubbed his toe a few times. But do you think that stopped him? Do you think that made him cry? Do you think that made him whine and say, I don't want to do this anymore, this is so hard, I got shot with an arrow? No! Because this man is the GOAT.
That's why he's everything! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Alexander the Great was born in 350 BC in Macedon. His parents were King Philip II and Olympias. He was raised in a royal court filled with political tension. Don't know what that means? Google it. Or ChatGPT. Even though his mom was Olympias, his dad was married to another woman, Cleopatra, and his mother was estranged from him. Alexander barely knew his mom as she became completely estranged from him, and he really didn't know her at all. Cleopatra was a threat to him being the heir of the throne because she could have a pure-blooded child that could take over the throne. But Alexander was not having that. So you know what he did? He told Cleopatra to let him cook now. And you know what? He became king. I probably wouldn't be making a video on him if he didn't, but... Alexander the Great was known for being extremely charismatic, ambitious, and heavily driven towards heroic glory. Oh my, heroic glory! This guy was not your average Joe, and definitely not as chopped as his father. I mean, look at this guy.
Brother,
This guy, he's horrendous to look at. I cannot explain how much my eyes burn. This is just genuinely painful to look at. Anyways, Alexander was not your average Joe. This guy was a ladies' man. I mean, look at that. Look at that six-pack. Look at that jaw. Look at that hair. He was charismatic. He was buff. He was jacked. Yeah, he was short, but he was a short king. Like literally, a short king. Right? Now this is what scientists think Alexander the Great looked like. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a downgrade from what like people painted him, but like probably would have beheaded them if he made him look this ugly. Alexander the Great loved learning. He loved reading.
We talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now.
And he also specifically loved the Iliad by Homer. Fun fact, Alexander the Great actually slept with a dagger and a copy of the Iliad book under his pillow. Why would you put a knife under your pillow? You could roll over and literally just stab. Alexander was also widely recognized as a ruthless king, and he sought dominance and prestige. Alexander was tutored by Aristotle at the Mesa until age 16. He studied philosophy, logic, ethics, medicine, and the arts. Also, I mentioned earlier how he loved the Iliad book. Well, Aristotle also took some notes in the Iliad book and gave the book to him, and that's the book that Alexander carried around everywhere. He actually called it his casket copy, and that's the one he slept with under his pillow. He also formed strong bonds with Hephaestion, Cassander, and Ptolemy. So eventually Alexander grew up and he became the regent of Macedon at age 16 and suppressed several local revolts. He also fought in the Battle of Chaeronea alongside his father, King Philip II, in 338 BC. In 336 BC, King Philip was assassinated and Alexander became king at age 20. After he became king, there was a lot of resistance from the Greeks. The Greeks revolted against him, and in turn, he destroyed Thebes, killed the men, and enslaved the women and the children. Yeah, very great, Alexander. In 334 BC, Alexander the Great across the Hellespont to begin his invasion of the Persian Empire. Shortly after that, Alexander the Great wins his first major battle against the Persian satraps in the Battle of Granicus. The following year, Alexander stops at the Gordium to cut the Gordian knot, which, if you don't know, it's supposedly like a really thick, uncuttable knot, and Alexander was able to cut it because, he's just the goat. Later that year, Alexander defeats Darius III in the Battle of Issus and captures his family. The following year, in 332 BC, he enters Egypt and is crowned pharaoh. That's also when he founds the city of Alexandria. In 330 BC, Alexander decides to chase after Darius III and try to find out where he is, only to discover that he's already been killed by his own people. In 330 to 327 BC, Alexander the Great conquers Bactria and Sogdia. In 326 BC, he invades India and defeats King Porus in the Battle of Hydaspes. Sadly, soon after this, Alexander died. After many years of being a great king and conquering many lands, Alexander the Great died at the age of 30. Now, you think he would have died of, being in a battle or something like go down like a hero, or maybe he was stabbed with a sword or backstabbed or betrayed by his friend. But nope, he died from diarrhea. Well, not really. That was just one of the symptoms of what he died from, which was just an unknown illness. Alexander fell ill shortly after coming home from India in 323 BC. Eumenes was accused of poisoning or killing Alexander in some way, so he published Alexander's journal entries to clear his name. But couldn't he have just written stuff in his journal to make him look innocent? But if you ask me, I don't think he killed him. I think it was some of that Indian food he ate. Stuff burns a hole through your stomach.